What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Tide Talk. It's Sunday, August 24th, and we're unfortunately here to talk RIFC's embarrassing 3-0 USL Championship derby loss in Hartford. Just a reminder, each episode is available on YouTube, and if you're watching now, please take a second to subscribe to our channel and click that like button on this video. You can also find us on your favorite podcast applications like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you listen on one of those, we'd really appreciate it if you took a minute to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps more people find Tide Talk. One last plug, if you're not already, go check out the RIFC Club Collector app and enter the code TideTalk25, all lowercase, all one word, to get an exclusive pack added to your collection today. If you are a true Club Collector sicko, go back and rewatch our live show from High Motor, and there's an exclusive code in there as well, a different code, so you can get some more packs to add to your collection and keep growing it. But
I think it expires today, by the way.
Oh, all right, cool. So if you're here live in the chat and you haven't done that yet, make sure you open it on another device and keep watching here and go get that code. But cozy up, grab a beer, or a bottle of hard stuff like these guys. And let's dive into this one. I'm your host, Matt. We've got the whole Tide Talk crew here tonight as we all made the trip to Hartford last night. We just really did not want to have Ryan and I say, hi, I'm Matt. Hi, I'm Ryan. Last night was dog shit. We'll see you next time, because that's kind of what we had. That's what we had lined up. But we'll start with you, Mr. Quadros. How was your Sunday, Ben?
Sunday was good. Busy with the kids. It was good to keep busy and just try to not think about last night as much as possible. So didn't do a rewatch today. I usually try to do a little prep, but going straight off the vibes, and the vibes aren't great. But wore the Benfica kit, so I wanted to wear the kit of a club that didn't embarrass me. So I'm ready to go.
I got to say, and we'll get to Timmy after this as well, but these two gentlemen on the top row with me might have been the two most surprising hooligans of the night. They were absolutely epic in their all their endeavors last night. It was a different side of Timmy and Andros. Andros, look at that, making you fully Brazilian now. That we saw last night. We saw the true hooligan in both of them come out. Timmy, how was your Sunday, buddy?
Yeah, it's been all right. I kind of did the opposite. I was saying respect to the dads here. Like, I barely got off the couch. I rewatched the game twice because I kept falling asleep both times. So it was terrible. So my day's just been like a blur of reliving both the highs and lows of yesterday, but doing all right.
That's it. I know I said to you guys, I woke up this morning, my back from standing and stomping on those bleachers was in absolute shambles. So just a shitty night, and we'll recap it all and offer you guys free group therapy as we go. Mr. Hands, what's happening?
Not much, man. Yeah, kind of like Quadros, avoided rewatching. Didn't want to relive that. So got back from Connecticut today, stayed overnight at Sarah's parents, and other than that, been a slow day, I guess. What is that gesture? Any comments to me or me?
I didn't realize like all of us were driving home in the middle of the night after those nachos, and you guys were just sleeping, hanging out. That's fine.
No, I had like a 10-minute drive, from like where we ate.
All right.
Not bad. A lot better than us. Timmy did very well on the drive home, though. I'm going to give him big props, and thank you for driving myself, Andrew, and Ryan. He did very good. But like Kevin says, gross. Staying in Connecticut is gross.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Mr. Healy, how was your Sunday, buddy?
It was good. I did rewatch the game, so I put myself through that with my morning coffee, and then I did a pilgrimage to try to reconnect to my Rhode Islandness after trying to wash off all the Connecticut. Bike down to the Dells in Bristol, which was a nice little ride this morning. So
Dells is a bold choice after that banner last night.
Listen, I said fuck the banner. I have to Rhode Island is still better. Screw whatever the banner said. Screw the match last night. Home is home.
All right, you heard it first. Couple housekeeping announcements before we get going. I just want to make sure I get them in now so we don't I don't forget by the end. But be on the lookout on Tuesday, this Tuesday, August 26th, the Defiant 1636 Player of the Season voting will open up to all members. So if you are a Defiant 1636 member, be on the lookout Tuesday for, I don't know if it's going to be an email or through the Discord, but an invitation to vote for your Player of the Season, as difficult as that might be. And if you are not a Defiance member, maybe now's your time to join so you can get a chance to cast your vote and get on in there. So join the best supporters group in New England. Also, big news confirmed, and we'll post this on our socials as well. High Motor, September 10th, ahead of the USL Jägermeister semifinal versus Sacramento Republic. Tide Talk will be live again. So we will be live at High Motor for our pre-match show. We're gonna change it up a little bit. We got some new segments planned, and it should be some pretty interesting stuff. So be on the lookout on our socials for the exact time and everything. It'll probably be 5:30 again, but we will share that as we get going. Matt Jean, Vice President of Defiance, said there will be an email. So if you are a Defiance 1636 member, be on the lookout on Tuesday for an email to cast your player of the season vote. Martin's excited. Yes, I will be there at High Motor. Awesome news.
Yeah, sorry if you were planning on going to paint night there. That was supposed to be scheduled. So
we'll say the kind folks at High Motor had a paint and vino night that Matt Hands was going to attend before the match was announced, and they rescheduled to accommodate Tide Talk and the Defiance ahead of that match. So it should be a damn good time. I can't wait to drink High Life and shoot Jaeger in front of a camera. College all over again.
These next couple of weeks don't go great. Should we just go back to the paint and vino night, but hosted by Tide Talk?
No, I don't know the
we'll let Timmy lead that one. It'll be like finger paint and vino.
It's just us like showing people how to use Canva. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
We're qualified.
Oh, that's right. And Scott did say we weren't live the first time, you tech literate twats. We will try to work through that and make sure we are actually live. But
people want the full behind the scenes. We made the decision to potentially go live at like 5:25 and encountered literally one hurdle that we could have probably figured out if we decided at 5:15. So we should be all right. But shouldn't leave that one to the last second this time.
I interrupted you like a minute in, and I was like, "They're saying it's not on," and you were just like, "Yeah, it didn't work out."
Fourth kit.
For some reason, the audio didn't work. But if things don't go our well up to the 10th, I think Martin's got a great idea. We'll paint a fourth kit. We'll have everyone submit their submissions. I absolutely love that.
That's actually a very fun idea.
Maybe in Canva.
That's it. I'll make a blank template for everyone.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what Timmy comes up with. But I love that we're just dealing with the chat right now. We're not dealing with last night, so we'll make that work. But I guess it's time. Let's take a look at the lineup. As we saw, Koge Vegas in net, Hugo Baccarat, Karifa Yao, Ame Babika across the back line, Holstad, Corcoran, Ibarra, Quazera, Dwayne Atkinson getting his first start, Noah Fuson, and JJ Williams. We'll start with you, Ryan. What did you think of this 11 when you saw it?
Yeah, quite frankly, this is exactly how the entire season has gone. You get like a couple things, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like JJ's in there, Busy's in there, and then you go into like, wait, but then Clay's on the wing. Where the fuck is Maxi? It's just you always get a little bit of good with your bad with the lineup coming out. Nice to see that there's plenty on the bench to change it. We talked about that last game, how that was a big plus for the Jägermeister Cup. Nice that we are going to hopefully, as long as health stays with us, like have those options there. But interesting, especially with this being such a heavily rotated Hartford side, that this lineup was a very interesting choice to go out there. So mostly fine. There's some quirks that I will always have with the way Connor's setting us up, but it was a team that should have been able to get the job done,
or at least compete a hell of a lot more than that. Like Martin said, and like you said, when I thought, whereas Maxi getting his 150th appearance last night and couldn't get a start to cap it off. I feel like it's the little things like that you got to look out for. Hans, what'd you make of the 11?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ryan. I mean, I think it was, I guess, pretty expected. I don't think anything jumped out, although other than maybe Maxi not starting. I kind of thought like Corcoran and Ibarra when I saw it again. Like it seems like Kano's set on playing them together. I still would prefer just one of them. And I felt like we were probably going to be missing something centrally, like going forward with Atkinson and Noah in there, and no real like more forward-thinking like central midfielder to connect that. So I mean, that was my only real concern. But also, like you said, like this lineup should have been good enough to compete in this game. And as we all know, and as we'll see, it wasn't, but it should have been.
For sure. How about you, Timmy?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly what we've seen all season. It's not what I would do, but not surprised to see Clay on the right again. Not surprised to see two defensive midfielders in the center. I guess, did anyone else entertain the possibility that it was going to be like Noah on the right as the right wing back, Clay somewhere in the middle?
I heard people saying that.
It might have been
at the tailgate.
It was just you, and I was like, I don't think there's any chance.
I'll be honest, I've like completely stopped. Like I'll be like, oh, this could be the thing I want to see, and I've stopped believing it's even possible at this point.
Right.
Like,
It's always going to be
We're
Too
gonna
many
see
holding
Clay on an
midfielders.
island on the outside running the wing for no fucking reason.
Until my guy Frank comes back.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
but maybe, but
Even
like,
if he
you know,
does,
the
we'll
weird, the
probably
thing
still
is,
see
like, that would
Clay.
be the
Yeah.
obvious decision, and he's not gonna make the fucking obvious decision.
You say,
He's playing
if he does come
mental
back,
gymnastics
yeah.
with himself and not the other team at this
But
point.
if he does
Well-
that, I think what happens is we just won't see Clay again. I think Clay.
Yeah,
is
because I think that
right
goes
now.
back to what I said last week. Clay is at this point second chance right back, maybe third when Frank's healthy, and whatever number choice central midfielder he is.
I'm happy that you guys told me you're getting hard alcohol before this, because with that sentence, I'm happy it's here.
That's it. I got Clam's Casino. I couldn't grab a bottle that quick, but
I also have my
Quadros-
4-month-old fresh catch with me as well, so I'll save it.
not
Fresh
so
to you.
fresh catch.
It's fresh to you.
Quadros, your thoughts on this?
I mean, my first thought was I do like that. It feels like there was a little bit more attacking talent, at least seeing Dwayne in there. But overall, I went into it expecting that either Clay or Maxi were not going to play. It just felt like the two of them together in the starting lineup just doesn't happen anymore. And it just seems like one or both of them get sacrificed every week. I was actually surprised when I did my club collector. Usually there's a scramble to swap out all the people that you thought were going to start and didn't.
Right.
I didn't have to make a single change. Like my guess was that Clay was going to start because he didn't start the last couple games, and my guess was that Maxi was going to sit because Connor has a hair across his ass about Maxi for some reason. So I'm not surprised to see what it is, but at the same time, when you're looking at the names, and this happened, we talked about this before. We never really know what the plan is when we see the players, and what's frustrating is it's not even that we don't know what the formation is. It's that we don't know the formation and where the players are going to fit in that formation. It's like there are 3 or 4 different guesses every single week. There's never just a template that we can think of and say, well, based on where he put these couple guys in the lineup, we expect them to be here. It's like we're just guessing every single week. We're just guessing, no idea.
Yeah, I think that's well said, and it's just Sean nailed it. We've been asking for it. Unleash the Clay Maxi double pivot. We want to see
don't
it.
Don't get me.
Like, don't get our hopes up.
We only scored 4 goals when we played it against Portland.
Yeah, I mean, outsiders will tell you that was a League 2 team, but our championship, whatever League 1. I'm sorry, but whatever. I guess before also we dive into the action on this, totally worth noting. I thought the tailgate was a really good experience. The chicken tendies were phenomenal. Better than the bone-in, Quadros?
Better than the bone-in, hands
Timmy?
down.
Ooh,
Yeah, they were both elite. Whoever told me the food sucked at the tailgate was lying. That food ripped.
The pizza was less than gas.
Didn't even go near it. There were so many chicken tenders. Didn't need it.
Timmy came up to me and he was very upset that the buffalo sauce was not like a butter like Indian sauce. I'm like, what did you expect, bro? It's from like
that was
my
my fault. That was my
That
fault.
was a thick buffalo sauce. Let me say that.
Timmy
Yeah.
said, "Do you think it could be butter chicken?" And I actually indulged him and said that'd be pretty cool.
So Timmy went full buy-in on that. Kind of a separate take of that. There was very little to no promoting this compared to last year. Last year, I feel like the tailgate, the bus trip was done months in advance. We got information on this 24 hours in advance, 48 hours tops. Quadros, I know you had very strong feelings on the lack of build-up leading to this.
Yeah, it just feels like the club can focus on one thing at a time. So they had to wait for certain hurdles to clear before they can start promoting this. There was no reason why they couldn't send out an email 2 months ago, 3 months ago, saying, hey, we're going to organize this. There's going to be a bus. There's going to be
We did have 2 buses last year versus
Right.
the one this year.
Right. And I was pleasantly surprised at the number of people that did show up. A lot of people organize things themselves, but they just leave it to the last moment. And there wasn't a lot of circulation in their communications to market that this was a thing that they were doing. So it felt like they organized it late. It felt like they promoted it late and promoted it minimally. It almost felt to me as if they felt like they had an obligation to do it, as opposed to actually trying to support their fans. They do a lot in terms of their marketing to say we're the best supporters in the league. And every day you see posts with our faces on it and with the rest of Defiance and with La Banda. But they're not doing anything to actually ensure that we're getting the best experience possible, that we're able to get to this away match, that we're trying to bring as big of a group as possible. We could have filled out 2 sections. We had a big group last year. They were all over it last year. They just didn't seem to do it this year. And it just feels like for the entirety of this season, it feels like they focused on one event at a time. And it's like, it wasn't until we got close to this event that they said, all right, time to start marketing this thing now. Like this should have happened earlier. There's no reason why it couldn't have happened 3 months ago. And then as time gets closer, then you just start building it up and really do a bigger push. So it was just frustrating to me because I thought we were going to have a pretty bad attendance relative to last year. Ended up not being the case, which I was really happy about because I think a lot of people just took it upon themselves. And of course, Defiance shouldering the load, Irvin and the board making sure that they're doing what they need to get their group there and ready for action.
For sure. Like Don says, supporters wanted to go to this game. RIFC kind of let people down and kind of waited till the 11th hour to really get in it. Hans, you have something to say on this one?
Yeah, I was going to say, I just can't get past the fact that, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like since the first two derbies, like, things really, like, the team really, like, I don't know, calmed the marketing down or, like, pulled back on some things. Because there's a lot of, like,
and on the flip side of that, Hartford ratcheted it up.
Right. So I feel like there's a lot of like anti-Hartford stuff, which I like and think is good. But then we kind of started not doing that, and I think that goes along with what Quadros was saying about, us kind of being late to that and it feeling like an obligation. Like I feel like that's kind of how the club like took it. It's almost like, oh man, like we know our fans are going to want to go, so I guess we have to do something. But it didn't seem like they wanted to market it or push it the way that they would have, and I feel like the last two derbies kind of had something to do with that and the way that things went down.
For sure. Anyone else want to hop in on this one?
No, I mean the only other thing to add too, I think was a big missed opportunity was like we didn't learn that the team was wearing white, and we could have really had get the news out that everyone should wear white. We can all white at our section. It would have been a cool thing to do, and again, something that would have been very easy to coordinate, like make some promotional T-shirts, all that. Again, like it took me tweeting the team, being like, "What color are we wearing?" And then Tide Talk had to put out like, "It's a white out. Like everyone wear your jerseys." And I think we actually got a decent amount of white in there, but could have been a lot better if people had more than 12 hours notice on that.
Right, just planned it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, overall, I do think the social aspect of it, hanging with you guys, hanging with Defiance, and all of that was easily the best part of the night. But unfortunately,
I think as always, like. Not to give us all the credit, like not Tide Talk, like us as the group, like we absolutely brought it. Like we were up for it, we were ready. Like people were ready to drive themselves there. They were ready to do whatever it took to bring that atmosphere, bring the noise. We brought the balloons in. We tried to have as much fun with the extreme limitations that were put on us, and that's what's tough, especially after what we're about to talk about happened.
For sure, and unfortunately for us, that happened pretty quick. On the start in just 6 minutes in, Hartford was able to break the deadlock pretty early on with this goal.
We see all of you. Hartford in the familiar all green kits. There's a shot blocked, rebound, score! It's 1-0 Hartford. And it's the man we had talked about, Mark, Samuel Carriaga.
We needed a big performance from him, and he's opened the scoring in 5 minutes. I'd like to see a replay to see if Koke Vegas could have done better there. That was the first instinct. But it's all about second balls. It's about being Johnny on the spot. It's about being in the right place at the right time. Did the goalkeeper see it late? Hopefully we got a better view than that one, and maybe a wider shot. But Carriaga, here we go. It's just a parry. If you're parrying it out, don't parry it back where it came from. Get it wide if you can. And defensively, there's not much the centre-backs can do if you don't.
So we'll start with you on this one, Timmy. I know a lot of us live and in the moment were very, Koke. Watching it back a few times, I think that's a ball we've seen him either catch before, if not parry out of bounds. I think that's one he'd for sure want to get back.
Yeah, I didn't think... So like you said, the live feedback was like so much blaming Koke. When I finally saw the replay, I was like, yeah, if I had to assign blame, like I think he would be at the top of the list. And like they said, don't maybe try not to parry it right back to where it came from. But it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst goalkeeping that we've seen this season, I don't think. And he's certainly earned his right to let in a marginally soft goal a couple of times. It's just it was more the timing of it and the situation that just made this like such a shitty goal to concede. And I mentioned it in the player ratings blog today. But thinking about that moment in hindsight, we haven't come back from conceding first literally all season to get even a single point. So the fact we should have known, I mean, the game was over 5 minutes in. We should have known it was over.
Yeah.
I thought we would get back into it. We had no chance. We haven't done it all season.
Quadros, hop in on that goal.
Yeah, I mean, the vibes after and the vibes that we brought in, I think we thought, hey, this is early. We can still get back into it. But in the back of my mind, in the back of a lot of people in that section's mind, we knew it was going to be an uphill battle. Like, I didn't know that stat of how many points we've taken from losing positions, but we knew it wasn't good. And it's always felt like if we go behind, like we can't give up the first goal because this team struggles so mightily. It's like once we give up that first goal, the best you can hope for is maybe a draw if we can salvage a goal later on. That's kind of where my head was at after that goal was maybe we'll get a 1-1 draw and walk out of here with a point, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Seeing it live, I did think that Koke should have caught it. Now seeing the replay, I'm less hard on that take. I can see why it would need to be parried, but I still take issue with where the ball was parried into. I don't think that it – I think that he could have done better to parry that into a less dangerous position. Like the goalkeepers are taught never spill the ball into the middle of the box. I think the defense was a little bit flat-footed, but at the same time, it was a really quick-moving one. So I'm not putting a lot of fault at Koke in the sense that he's had a tremendous season. He's probably been one of our best and most consistent performers. He is not on the top of the list or anywhere near the top of the list of why this team has been underperforming. But that not great piece of goalkeeping put us in a position where we probably weren't going to be able to get points out of this, which really sucks. And we knew that right away.
Hands.
Well, so I just see this. It's Jason's fault. I guess we lost seeing that comment. But
I was thinking that too.
It might not have been the real Jason though. So
true.
Always two-factor verify, folks.
No, pretty much just what Timmy and Quadro said. I guess for me initially, I was thinking like there was a defender not clearing it after the save, but it was definitely Koke kind of parrying it back into like a bad area. And which is pretty much I agree with what the commentator said. I saw Martin earlier said that those commentators are like driving him nuts. I think they're probably the biggest Homer broadcast in the USL out of all the other away ones I've listened to. But I mean, he's right. It was bad goalkeeping there, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. And Ryan, take us home on this goal.
Yeah, I think everyone nailed it. I mean, the biggest thing we can't do at this point is go down, and to go down within 5-6 minutes was absolutely horrible, especially as Ewan's been mentioning. Like this was an extremely heavily rotated Hartford side, and for us to go down with their ability to really bring in all their starters off the bench later in the game was really bad. I mean, I think Koke does not cover himself in glory. He's absolutely going to want this one back. But the thing that bothers me about this one is it's another goal where our defenders were just standing in the box. And no one was with the guy. They were just kind of just standing there. And not to say that the goal doesn't happen, but it makes the rebound a lot easier if you're not like with someone and able to kind
Hugo
of
could have been
out.
holding hands with Koke.
Yeah, which I think it also made it Koke unable to react to get down because he didn't want to dive because like Hugo's right there with him. So yeah, another messy one where kind of everyone's just ball watching. I mean, I think even just letting him get that shot off the first one without a contest from Yao was very weird as well. So yeah, definitely a game for our back line as much as we raved about them previously to kind of forget on this one.
For sure. I think like Quadros alluded to as well, it very much took the energy out of,
yes.
I wouldn't say the supporters because we still chanted, sang, and went hard for all 90. But I think the players, you could very much see a very different outlook as far as what was going on. I think the body language after the goal and things were just kind of like, without that lack of any kind of creativity in the midfield there, it was just kind of hoof it and hope for the best.
Well, when you haven't scored a goal on the road in multiple months and then you're getting shut out like 60% of the time this season, like we say this all the time, we feel it. They have to be feeling it as well. Like they know the ball is not going in the net, and to go down, it's just like, great. Now let's take the spotlight and shine it even brighter on the offense, which is just doing absolutely nothing at this point. So.
One other thing, I believe it was the first half. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but that injury that was not a head injury that was pulled back, that was first half, correct?
That was second. The one that happened in the first half was when the guy was walking alongside Hugo, went down like he got shot,
That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
the ref stopped the game, and it went on for 5+ minutes. The ref calls everyone over. He's giving Hugo a talking to, and then they play the replay. And even the Hartford very homer announcers was like, "Oh my god, I've like this. That was awful. Like he just didn't even get touched. He tripped on his own 2 feet and went down like he got shot." So yeah, I mean
Elvis
Hartford. They were always,
Osmanovic.
yeah, I mean once Hartford went up, they were always going to do really embarrassing shit to draw this one out and to really make it difficult. And hey, that's their right. They went up and they're trying to hold on to the game as it is. So you know, there's gamesmanship, the dark arts, all you want to talk about. But at the end of the day, it's on us for conceding that goal and then not being able to get back in it just through the run of play.
All right. First half stats, 35% possession for Hartford, 65 RIFC, 4 shots apiece, 2 on target for Hartford, 0 for Rhode Island. Hartford only completed 79 passes at 65%. Rhode Island completed 194 at 82. We committed 9 fouls, they committed 8, and Hartford had 1 quarter to our nil. Quadros, Kano ball at its finest, right?
Yeah, this is the game plan, right? Just keep possession, keep it, hoof it long, get the ball back, keep it, hoof it long again. That's just what. No creativity, no chance creation, and that, like we said with that goal, it was already a hill to climb to get points out of here. It became a mountain because we gave a goal in the 5th or 6th minute, and I agree that the players know that too. So there's no fucking creativity anywhere on the field. The most creativity we see is Koke dropping a ball between lines to a player in the midfield. Like that's the most we see throughout the whole game. So
that's a good shout.
Well, Andrew, I was going to say, you keep saying keep it, hoof it long. You forgot keep it, kick it literally out for a corner from the halfway line. You forgot stuff like that. That was some really interesting tactical adjustments last night.
And
we were
I
just
think
giving them corners for no reason.
Both of you guys are missing the biggest tactical piece of this. Pass it backwards a bunch of times first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's part of the.
How do we forget that? Pass it backwards all the time. Timmy, overall, other thoughts on the first half?
No, I mean, we played right into Hartford's hand. They didn't need the ball. They were up a goal. They know we can't score, so that's why we had 70% of the ball. They just let us have it. They know we're just going to pass it around the back.
They just kept sitting deeper and deeper in that first half, and
we did have to say it. We had a decent chance to equalize in first half stoppage time. Clay hit a cross that JJ got a ton of power behind and barely hit it over the bar. And he had two high-headed chances in the game, and both of them I'm like, man, just hit it at Siaha's feet or a corner. He hit both of them, one right over the net and one right into his hand.
At least the second one was on goal. But
I'm not convinced. I'm not actually convinced it was. Siaha caught it, but
I think it probably would have hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
Hands, any other lingering first half thoughts?
No. Shit.
No. Well said. Getting into the second half, Ryan, we'll start with that.
Can I actually one quick one for the halftime one.
Sure.
One thing I thought was insane, right? So we go down 1-0, and Hartford's clearly showing no intent, right? I didn't know this, but they literally weren't playing with a striker. They were playing without an actual recognized striker. But we, again, persist with having 3 defenders back there. And at any point you see us have the ball, it's either we're back there and it's a bunch of defenders in like Corcoran and Ibarra, and they're just there and they're just passing it around because it's very easy to do. Only maybe the one fake striker guy is standing there. He's not even pressing. He's just like, great, you guys have a great time passing it between the 5 of you. What a lovely thing. And then anytime the ball gets up the pitch, it's JJ and maybe either Busy or Noah against 5 defenders. And the team is so unbalanced, and we refuse to change it depending on both what the opposition is doing, but also the game state. So to go through, get through halftime, and then make 0 subs getting to the second half, make 0 changes to what you're trying to do, especially when it's not like it's like, okay, we had a bad half. We've had a bad fucking year. We've had a bad year. This has not worked since March all the way through August. And we still are persisting with it because I don't have an answer to that something.
This is the frustrating part. There's been no adjustments in any sort of meaningful way to what the system is, and every other team in the league knows that playbook. They know exactly how to stop that, and there's been nothing done to try to break that. And it particularly suits Hartford's strengths in the way that they want to play. So there's no change there. But even if Hartford didn't want to play that way, every team goes in and they know exactly what they need to do to just let Rhode Island have the ball. They're not going to be dangerous with it in the least. Eventually, we go back, we counter, we'll do what we need to do. It's the same playbook every single game.
Yeah. This might be one of the, if not the most predictable team I've ever watched. And
We must
Any
be
level,
the easiest
any
team to play
league.
against. We must be the easiest. It must be nice. You look at the schedule right now. You see Rhode Island coming to town. You must be like, what a nice day. We should actually train a little harder this week to get a little more fitness because the game is going to be really fucking easy on Saturday. They're not going to press us really hard. They're going to just fucking pass the ball around between the defenders and the midfielders. The center backs might as well just fucking get a newspaper out there. They're going to be bored. There's nothing to do up back there. Like, so it must be a really nice day out when you play Rhode Island at this point. And it is the fucking polar opposite of last year where we were a hard ass team to play against. We'd press you off the pitch, and if we didn't get the ball, we'd kick your ass because we'd follow you, we'd get yelled.
Body you up and down the pitch for 90 minutes.
We made it a really hard day, even like when, and I do not get how the identity has just been evaporated from this team at this point. So
I mean,
yeah.
16 falls for us. I think last year we're in the 20s at least in a game like this. So even just taking those chances and throwing yourself into challenges, it's just we don't see it outside of Aldair. But I know a play that really pissed you off in the second half there, Ryan, was Rhode Island was actually on a break down the left-hand flank, and it was called back for a Hartford injury, and it was not a head injury. The player was down. Rhode Island didn't play the ball out as it was their right not to. Referee pulled it back, went and talked to him, and then allowed the fucking player to stay on the pitch. Like, I've never seen that before where a referee starts play. Our guy, Joe Burns, an official, said the trainer was not beckoned, but if it was a strong enough decision for the referee to go back and kill an active play and blow a whistle, how do you not beckon the trainer on?
So to interject, I feel like I've seen this multiple times at Tidewater this year, where the opponent went down, got assistance, and then didn't have to leave the field multiple times, to the point where I'm questioning, did they change the rule about this? Because it feels like this happens more often than I remember.
Well, Joe did tell us that if the trainer is not beckoned on the field by the referee, the player does not have to leave the pitch.
I'm almost positive, though, that I've seen one or two times at Tidewater this year where the opponent had the trainer on the field and they got to stay on. It happened in one of the earlier games this year. So I legitimately do question, like, has the rule changed? Because I don't understand this. This is not the first time I've seen it.
For sure.
It just drove me nuts to the point where honestly,
Ryan was very, very upset during
this. There's actually a video. Shout out to Archie on Dribble Trips. He was taking like a nice video. We're all jumping, and you just hear me start going, "He needs to come off." So as much as I would love to talk about this more, I think this is a distraction from the real meat of what happened. Like, the ref was fine. It doesn't matter. The ref couldn't have done anything in this game. We were the problem last night. Rhode Island FC was the problem last night.
And Martin has confirmed with the Andrew, it did happen multiple times. Just one of those things. Like Nicholas says in the chat, reffing has been a total joke in general. It's the standard of the USL outside of that one female ref that we had a couple weeks ago at home. Best we've seen in a while. But Nicholas also came back and said, not why we are losing. So totally agree with that there. Things went from bad to worse for RIFC in the 73rd minute as we conceded yet another goal on this strike from Hartford.
Hartford going direct over the top. Played into the box. Here's a shot and a goal! And it's Kyle Edwards. 2-0 Athletic.
Fuck this commentator, man.
Seriously.
I'm glad I didn't rewatch.
It was tough.
We've just spoken about that. There's space in behind. Take a chance. Stick it over the top. You've got fresh legs. You've got Kyle Edwards. You've got Mishi Ngalina. You might not have Momo.
I forgot that when
you've
we
still
do the
got a
videos,
goal
just so we can
scorer.
talk over
Awful
it.
defending once again by the substitute this time, Zach Heravo. And Kyle Edwards with the goal. There's the gap. It's now 2 goals. That's massive for
Nailed
Hartford.
it, Martin.
9th goal of the season, 19th in the green and white for Kyle Edwards. And that's the insurance goal Hartford was looking at as Brass Bonanza play.
Fuck them too. Herval gets absolutely pantsed on this one and left out in a spin cycle somewhere. I think he's still trying to find that defender, maybe back in Pawtucket somewhere. But take us through your thoughts on that goal.
Yeah, I mean, imagine this is what happens when you go direct. Sometimes shit like this can happen, but we don't do it. But no, like, I like Heravo, and I think for going forward, like when him playing from a defensive, playing in the back line is good, but stuff like this can happen when he's in the back line defending. We saw it in Westchester. The one goal we conceded there, he was in the back line, I think by necessity because of injuries. But yeah, he was like running towards his own goal, kind of trying to track back, and Westchester scores. So it's the same type of thing here. He's just not a defender. Not his fault. It's just not his position. So I don't know why he's playing there. Yeah, Kevin, why is he? Yeah, I don't know.
It's just another example, like similar to Clay, of we have these players that have their defined positions, and we continue to insert square pegs and round holes and put these players where they don't belong, and shit like this happens.
Even with Stoneman and Frank out, like we still have Rio, I believe, is healthy. Like, why if you want to bring in a sub?
Rio was in street clothes in the stands too.
So, assuming he wasn't on the availability report, I don't think. So assuming he was healthy, I mean, he played right sided center back like the whole time when you brought him in. So why wouldn't he be on the bench to come in there if you want to make that kind of sub? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Kind of
well, Don says 1 second, Ryan. Don says in the chat, Zach is not a good defender, and I don't want it to sound like we're bashing on Haraval here, because I think Haraval is a very good central midfielder in the squad and offers like such good elements. Same way Clay is not a right back. He's not a fucking right wing back. He's a central midfielder, probably our best one in my opinion. Still, we'll say that. Obviously, Kano disagrees with that, but we are continuing to put these players in other spots, and it just doesn't work. And we have cover at these positions, but we're just not seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump in there, I think the one of the this hasn't dawned on me until yesterday. I said it to you guys like 20 times yesterday, but the fact that the Ibarra, Holstad, Haraval midfield changed our life last year, like genuinely changed our life. We went on a whole ass run. A lot of it due to obviously JJ being in red hot form, but also as I called it, the adult midfield at the time. We haven't seen them for 1 minute this season play together. We have Clay relegated to being a right wing back, and we have Haraval relegated to being a center back. And that has been consistent this entire year. I think it is negligent the way that this has been deployed, because the whole point of playing people out of position is, okay, you know what? We'll play Clay at right wing back, but it's because we're getting something else is happening that's so good that we can afford to do that. The system we're playing right now is getting the best out of absolutely not a single player, and yet we're asking our best players to make sacrifice after sacrifice. Play like even Amos again. A lot of these guys are trying their absolute fucking hardest. Like Amos, I think is like number one on that list. He's not.
But he's also not a right wing back.
He's not a right wing back. So we're asking all these guys to play in this system that doesn't get any of the best out of them. And then again, it's like you have like at this point in the season, we have 21 games plus, including the cups, of it not working. Like there's maybe 3 games that you could say it worked, and I even might put a lot of those in quotes, especially the Tampa one, where like we won because of a couple of long range bangers that. Again, we haven't seen that happen since. So you have this large sample size of it not working. You also have a whole year last year of it working, and he has yet to even just try, like, let me just put the fucking same couple guys that actually I saw this work well. Refuses to do that. And it also goes back to Kano's also the GM, so he's the one who set up this team and gave himself these options. He has no one to blame but himself on this. So I just cannot believe that there has been the point where it's like, well, fuck it. Ibarra, Holstad, and Haraval brought me to the championship last year. Let me at least run him out there for 60 minutes and see what happens. So yeah,
goal. Do you think we're going to get to a point where we see 11 midfielders on the pitch at one time?
I mean, I'll try this point. Why not? Why not? But to the goal, I think
our guy Santiago with that.
Yeah, I think Haraval didn't look good. I also think Yao doesn't look good in this one. Like his guy is actually the one who scores. He just kind of like stands there instead of like trying to get around. Like he just stops running. So I don't think I think he had a weird game. I think Mabika had a weird game. I don't think anyone in the back line had a good game. So
hop in here.
Does any other like serious team change their center back mid game? Just make a swap at center. Like I can understand adding a center back when you're defending a lead, but do serious teams just change out a center back? Like I thought Mabika was playing fairly well.
My dad texts me every away game and every home game. He's sitting next to me, bitching about why is Mabika never playing 90 minutes? Why? Like he plays well. Does he just not have the legs for it? We understood at the beginning of the year when he was off in the off season and trying to get his legs back. Can he just not handle playing 90? And if not, then if he can, why is he the one to go? every single game when he's one of our best defenders, if not our best defender right now.
Well, so I think,
And
I think
we've
the
even
logic
seen
here-
we've seen the trust of Kano throwing the armband on him too. So like,
Right.
why
Yeah.
do we see him subbed off?
But every
I
single
think
game, has he played a
the-
full 90? Maybe once or twice? I don't understand it.
I believe so.
I think the annoying logic, I'm assuming, is Kano's thinking, we need a goal. I'm going to make an offensive substitution by putting someone who can pass the ball and dribble it in the defense instead of replacing one
Timmy,
of the
it's
two
always
defensive
just like
midfielders.
it's always 3 steps like too complicated. It's always
But
three
if you're
steps too
if
complicated.
you're
That
going
makes no
if you're going
sense.
to do that, to Nate's comment that we have pulled up, switch to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 and put Haribo in a
Please.
comfortable position
Please.
rather than the back line and stay with the 3 defenders. Change the shape, change the formation. So you have a different point of attack to be able to try to get yourself back in. Sticking with the same formation, the same lineup, or the same shape and tactics is not going to get you a goal like that. You have to change things drastically on the fly, and good players can do that. Good players can adapt, but we won't even attempt it.
I just do not, and we're going to talk about this. There are slides, folks. I cannot
Slides.
I cannot comprehend at this point how like there cannot be a clearer picture of what is wrong with this team, and it seems like he has not a single idea on how to generate more offense. Like he's like, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this back 3, back 5 system and go with it, even when it doesn't fit our players. It doesn't fit the problem that the team is currently facing. It didn't fit the game state last night. It didn't fit the opponent that you were playing against. Like there's absolutely zero reason. And then at the same time, we're constantly chopping and changing the lineup where these guys don't even know what, like, there were some really just awkward rotations, awkward moments last night where it just seemed like no one knew where the other person was supposed to be or where they were supposed to be. And we'll get into that a lot more, but I genuinely cannot fathom what we are watching at this point, 21 games into the season.
I can
Like the
understand.
commentator, everyone's shitting on the commentator. There was one point they go, how did this team go from being like one of the most offensive teams with all its talent to not able to like sniff a goal? Like I was cracking up because I was like, brother, I likewise, like, get it. Like I cannot believe it as well. Like,
And I can understand this persistence to stick with the system and being stubborn about it. If you feel like the team is working it out and they're progressing and that because there was an element of that last year too. Like they're getting there, they just need something to click, and then they're off to the races. And it still required some changes and tweaks to make that happen. There's been no progression here from the beginning of the year to now. No progression, no improvement. They've done nothing to show that they're starting to learn the system. So why this stubbornness and persistence of playing this way? This way doesn't fucking work. Do something different.
Real quick on the substitutions. Yeah, the Mabika played 90 the 3 games before Birmingham, but then Kano made the same. Like Birmingham, he came out for Zach. He came out for Zach again, which like leads to kind of believe that it's just scripted like beforehand, and these aren't like adjustments that are being made during the game. It's just, I'm probably gonna take him out for
It's
Zach.
more of a
Like,
minutes thing.
yeah, there's a lot of minute stuff, and I give a lot of leeway with that because a lot of times people would be like, oh, why is this guy not playing, or why would JJ only play 60 minutes or for whoever? And I usually give a lot of leeway of like, all right, maybe someone's hurt, but it's just getting to the point where it's like, seems like a lot of these subs are just like scripted like beforehand, and they're not actual like adjustments most of the time.
Sure. Things went from worse to worser 16 minutes later as Hartford was able to get on the board again with their 3rd goal. Sorry to do it to you, Jason, and make you actually watch it for the first time, but
no one's gonna like this. This was an
here's
absolute
the
banger.
score was right on this
This is a
one.
banger.
Yeah. This kid is
Nobody
a
in the game
asshole.
for Hartford
Yes.
on a yellow card. Meanwhile, Rhode Island playing a man down after Alder Sanchez
When did Harvard get
shown
negative
a
2
red.
goals?
Here's Edwards.
Yeah,
Heads it
the
towards
score
the
is totally
goal.
off.
Here's Preston, and he scores!
Listen to this asshole
It's on.
react to that.
The kid, Owen Prestis. Welcome to Hartford.
broadcasters.
It's 3-0
It's home
Athletic.
broadcast, so
And
I
the
don't-
celebration begins in earnest.
What kind of sorcery is this?
Oh my
Clowns.
goodness.
What freaking clowns.
I mean, come on. Your brother scores an overhead kick at Rhode Island. You ain't getting any better than that. Hold my beer, says Owen.
Oh my
Edwards with the
God.
beautiful header. Prestis runs free and goes up top.
Come
My,
on.
oh my.
Bragging rights in that family. On you go, boys. Fight out amongst yourselves.
Owen, you know what Owen Prestis is saying?
Yeah, that's
we can cut it. Like,
To say on the
anyone want to come in first on this? Go ahead, Hans.
Well, no, on the commentary, like, yeah, I hate it because it's Hartford, but like I kind of wish we had commentators like that. Like, it's Hartford's home broadcast. Like, people need to remember. I know we all know, but like these broadcasts are like essentially the home. If like our away games, it's the home broadcast for that team. Like, they're obviously over the top and they're being like real homers, and a lot of the other broadcasts are kind of somewhat neutral. But like I hate it because it's Hartford, obviously, and it was against us. But I wish that we had that broadcast. And then I mean, on the goal, I have nothing to say. Like,
Don says he's going to go back to listening to the podcast, so he doesn't have to watch these videos.
I mean,
I got to give Don a shout out before you hop in, Timmy. Don's been absolutely on fire in the chat tonight, ripping it up. Don Lindbergh, take a bow. We appreciate all your support, and when you join us live and contribute in the chat as well. Go ahead, Tim.
This is not even on the goal specifically. I was just going to say all of the Hartford players are assholes. It's not just Siaha. The first guy was it what's his name? First guy came over,
goal?
celebrated right in our faces.
Yeah.
Didn't get missed. Then this kid not only did that, which I guess doesn't make him an asshole on its own, but he was the one waving goodbye at us at the end of the game too.
He's on loan too, right? Or they actually I forget if they permanently signed him or if he's on loan.
I can't be bothered to follow.
Is he on loan from Wankdorf?
Yeah.
It's just like more of a general thought, but it just sucks. It's like Siaha's antics seem to have seeped into the entire team, and it is like a confidence and complete arrogance that we have nothing even resembling it in our team, honestly.
Quite frankly, can I jump in on this? I kind of have they get to talk their shit. Like, we
I
didn't
agree,
show
it
up and they
sucks.
fucking dunked on us.
We'd be all for it if it was us.
If JJ, I mean, we've seen JJ Williams.
If JJ did the nut grab after a race, like
Bonanza,
at the Hartford supporters,
I would absolutely love
totally.
it. So listen, I Siaha went way over the top at our game, but I don't know, man. When you get the result you want, and when you do what they did to us last night, where we didn't even show up, we were cowering in the fucking corner. Like, sorry, man, you get to do whatever you want, and we had to sit there and take it from teenagers all night.
To be fair, we were not cowering in the corner.
We were trying
right
our
back
best.
to
It was
those
really
teenagers.
hard when we're just getting dunked on the pitch, and we have little kids running up to us, telling us to go fuck ourselves.
It's crazy. Like, it's embarrassing to run your mouth all night or on the internet for the month leading up to the game, and then just to get absolutely rocked like that. It's just
especially with
we
kids
got
who
left
were
out
out
to
past their
dry.
curfew. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. It sucks.
I mean, the teenagers of Hartford ran amok last night, and we wanted to know where their mothers were, and they just didn't let us know. Kevin says those little kids are awesome. I don't know.
Little kids
awesome would not be the word I would use to describe them after a lot of those interactions.
We should have
big shout out to Scott from totally. Big shout out to Scott from Robin Front, who very gently helped usher one out. That was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen. It was absolutely incredible. I think Timmy wished it was him.
The term he used last night was belly checking. He was belly checking the dude out of there.
That kid in the black t-shirt was such a punk bitch. And Scott just gave him a little
absolute fucker. That kid was, to be honest. He was doing loops. That kid was just doing loops around the stadium to piss us off.
They were in their high school stadium, so they felt at home and it felt entitled. But anyone else have anything else to say about that goal or that second half, or I read off final stats?
Do you have to read off final stats? Do we need to look at those?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk Cono ball, baby. 67% to 33 RIFC in favor of possession. Shots were equal at 9. They had 5 on target, just 1 for us. 1 big chance for Hartford, 0 for RIFC. Big chances missed for both teams was 0. 145 passes at 65% for Hartford. 388 at 82. You can complete your passes in the 80s when you're passing backwards all game. 17 fouls for Hartford, 16 for RIFC. They had 3 corners. We had 2. Just an absolute shit show. I think our XG was 0.36 on the night, which is absolute dog shit. People were kind of talking about how, the JJ headers, we had chances, but the quality of I saw that in the Defiance Discord earlier. The quality of the chance was absolute dog shit, and we showed it with the scoreline as well on that one. So let's do socials first, and then we'll get to slides, just so we can get that out of the way. We appreciate everyone who writes into us on the Defiance 1636 Discord and in all of our socials. So we actually had a lot of feedback, so buckle up on this one. Our friend Leo O had good traveling support showing up and being able to be heard on the broadcast on multiple occasions. Bad, minimal offensive chances created with most of the firepower starting and giving up a poor early goal. Ugly, progression still feels scripted and like we get stuck in a glitchy loop of passing between our back line and anyone who drops down to touch the ball back to them until somebody plays a wild ball over the top. We feel like we have almost lost our ability as a team to sense and take advantage of space anywhere of our outside of our own half. Very well said, Leo. Absolutely love that. RIFC in 3, scrap the script. Tyler, who we enjoyed a nice post-game meal with, had some post-weight clarity after that one as well. Taris, RIFC in 3 was worst-case scenario. Good, no. Bad, still time to get worse. Ugly, what went on in the stands and on the field. The stands is one thing. And I'm going to get to my big point on that, before we sign off on this one. But the field, I think, was the true ugly one. Nateski's RIFC in 3 was 9 games left. His good was Defiant 1636. Road Warriors, his bad was 3-0, and his ugly was lost to a rival on aggregate. Series tied 1-1. Mo Brown, good with the Travelers. Bad, team chemistry. So many not on the same page. Ugly, not competing. A very common theme for sure. As we scroll down and pick up a few more. Andrew Quadros, you had Where's Denzel Now? We'll get to that. We will get there. Your good was all the away trip fun before the match. And I would say after as well. We had a blast afterwards with some rocket fuel. Your bad was this team's embarrassing performance. Ugly, the lack of respect paid to the traveling away supporters after the final whistle. So go ahead, Andrew. Hop in on that.
I was so mad. So set the scene. We just got our asses kicked in the derby. We looked ugly. We brought in a pretty full section, like we talked about earlier. And there was some discussion, even as the game was wrapping up, of what do we do when this game ends in terms of applauding them, scarves up, booing. And I'm of the opinion that, and I understand that people have other opinions, that when you go to these matches, regardless of the result, regardless of who you're playing against, you give the team your love, your applause, and then the criticisms and the banners or anything else you want to do, you take with you at home and you do it there. But on the road, you give your applause and you give your flowers to the team, regardless of what happened there. So whatever people chose to do was fine. But for the most part, our section was mostly scarves up. I was encouraging people to do it too, and not everybody did it. But for the most part, scarves up. There was applause happening. They were cheering the players over. The players came over for about a split second, and everybody else took off. I think Maxi and maybe Noah hung around for a couple extra seconds. And then Koke was basically there on an island, receiving all of the applause and well wishes that we were giving them as a group. And everybody else just didn't want to hear it. I don't think I saw Kano come over. And that fucking drove me nuts. It just, maybe it's just coming from, my love for Benfica and a lot of teams, that a lot of us that follow European clubs. The norm there is that you go to the away supporters after the match, win or lose, no matter what the result was, and you take it from them. If they want to boo you, then you take it. If they want to cheer you, then you take it. But you stay there and you show your appreciation and you show your love for the people who spent their time, who spent their money, who spent their day to come over there and cheer you. And especially on a game like this, where we got fucking rocked by our big rivals here. They looked embarrassing. This team never looked in it. And we're there still with a section full of scarves up and us cheering and applauding you and chanting. We were singing to the players. And Koke is the only one there that stuck around for that. So he was the only one that I saw that stuck around for autographs and speaking to the fans too. I never really go to the players after the match. I let them, talk to the kids and sign whatever they want to sign. And I went up to him.
Kids and me.
And kid-sized adults. And he came over and I thanked him.
You're welcome for that alley-oop, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. I thanked him for being a true captain, understanding what he was supposed to do in that moment, but at the same time expressed how disappointed I was in the rest of the team that they all took off. and just didn't want to. They pouted and they took off. And this has been a consistent pattern, really going back to, if you think about the final last year in Colorado Springs, understanding like you gave them a pass there because it was a crushing loss. They made it so far. It was a long run. But Kano basically had to push the players one by one as we were singing them by name. Like we had to call them by name for them to come over and take their applause from us and allow us to be able to express our thanks to them. Kano was pushing them one by one. JJ, as much as I love the guy, just took off. He just went to the locker room. Even with people pulling on him saying, come back and greet the supporters, he didn't want to hear it. He just went to the locker room. And then we've seen and heard multiple cases this year. In Pittsburgh, we had some fans there. They played like dog shit against Pittsburgh. They got their asses kicked. And Kano and no one else went over. Maybe a couple people who had family in the stands that they came over. So it's been a consistent pattern. This team pouts. When they don't play well, they pout. When they win, I guarantee you they would have been over here and soaking in all of the love that they were getting. But they lost and they all fucking took off. And I took exception to that. It's fucking ridiculous that the only person there is Koke. And I venture a guess that the reason that happened is because he's Spanish. He understands that is the culture, that you go there and you take whatever the supporters have. But why is it that no one else stuck around? So he was saying he's encouraging the team to do it. He's working on it with them, and that kind of has encouraged him to get the other players out there. But at this point, we're toward the end of the season. Why is Koke the only person out there listening? And he just took it. Like he sat there or stood there by himself and just took it all in. The rest of the team needs to be there. It's a fucking disgrace that they weren't. The amount of people that we brought to that stadium and made noise, despite getting our asses kicked from the fucking 5th or 6th minute on. And he's the only one that sticks around. It's bullshit.
Well done, Andrew. Definitely wanted to give you full time to rest credit for him, and you totally nailed it. Very well done. I think a lot of people think of Andrew as such a calm, cool, collected guy, and like when I tell you he was more fired up last night than that speech there. So you get a lot of well said Andrews in the chat as well. So I think a very, very good point to bring up as well. We'll wrap up in the Defiant 1636 Discord. Tyler had ugly Shartford players, uglier Shartford fans, ugliest Shartford as a city. Off the ugly scale, our train wreck of a season. Our guy Patrick McKenna, who puts out our pre-match essentials, had RIFC in 3, Champagne Super Ova, RIFC in 3, Shipwreck in Hartford. Andrew Gomes had RIFC in 3, made zucchini bread, and then posted a lovely picture of us, said zucchini bread. So very, very good stuff there. Matt Jean, RFC in 3.
You missed his follow-up. His second
the follow-ups are great. Timmy said RFC in 3. Give me that. I hit him with, was it any good too?
Well, no.
Sorry.
RFC, yeah.
Yeah, God, I'm depressed was his follow-up. So I wonder how that zucchini bread was. Matt Jean had RFC in 3. When's 2026 start? Our friend Martin had, what was that? So thank you to everyone who wrote in on the Defiant 1636 Discord. As we make the rounds and take a look at Twitter, we had the ghost of FQB, Kevin, with good, I didn't go to Hartford. Bad, Hartford owns us in 2025. Ugly, season is over. Style of play doesn't work with the players on this team. No consistent starting 11. Poor decisions left and right. RIFC in 3. Dis of fucking pointing. Tyler Hatch, RIFC in 3. Rhode Island pathetic. That pretty much sums it up in all forms. Good, out of that shithole that is the state of Connecticut. Bad, everything. And ugly Siaha's face. Mike Moniz had RFC in 3, hit rock bottom. We'll question that again. There's still games to go. As good was it can't get any worse. Bad, it can't get any worse. I don't know, Mike. I like you, but I don't know. And it's ugly. Charleston and Louisville still up ahead on the schedule, so we'll be there. Andrew Corning had RFC in 3. We really suck. Nailed it, Andrew. Good watching the cops escort those Hartford kids out of the stadium. That was comical.
That was great.
Bad, everything else, and ugly Siaha's dumb face. Another reference to Siaha's dumb face there as well. And then finally on, this didn't pop up, of course. We had on Facebook our friend Coach Almeida, who's in the chat, ridiculously lost in translation. No Hablo Pablo, nothing on the field. That's a wrap on 2025 golf season for RFC. And then came back with better yet. Here's another RFC in 3. Golf season awaits. Chuck King had 3 RFC in 3. He did 3 and 1. Worst, absolutely fucking embarrassing. Love it. And Clayton Novak there is no good with this team right now. It's all bad and ugly. Big changes are needed for next season. So a big thank you to everyone who took the time to write in on all of our socials. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the Defiant 1636 Discord chat. We post all of it after each match, looking for your input on it. But I will kick it to Ryan now, as we have slides.
Alrighty, folks. So this would be a fun one. So I was, to Andrew's point of kind of how people wanted to do things differently last night. I was one of the folks who was not particularly keen on cheering this team after this one. I didn't appreciate the performance. I didn't appreciate the, really the effort in a lot of places. But the biggest thing that I kept coming back to was I did not appreciate the way that the coach set us up and the coach gave this team a chance to win. So we're doing slides tonight, and we're going back to kind of last year where we have a theme for the night, and it is the curious case of Coach Kano. So just a quick reminder of last season, which genuinely looking at when I was pulling these stats together, it felt hard to believe what I was looking at. But last season, we were 3rd in goals per match, 9th in goals against per match, 6th in expected goal differential, 3rd in FOP mob rating, 4th in big chances created, 3rd in tackles per match. So to what I said earlier, this is a team that could score goals. They kick your ass on the pitch. They were number 1 in yellow cards. They were 3rd in tackles. They were an intense team. And, that's really what progressed this team and propelled them into this playoff run. And it was one of those things last year that we did a lot of slides, a lot of things along the way where, the results might have not been going our way. We were the draw kings, all that stuff. But the underlying stats were keeping this team. We really looked like a better team via the data. And then we saw that kind of play out towards the end of the season and into the playoff run. So as we move on, we know what happened there. The team went on that great playoff run. Eastern Conference champions, went to the finals. And in the offseason, coach just extended. And honestly, I don't think a single one of us in the offseason had any issue with this. Phenomenal first season, put together a really fantastic team, seemed to do a really good job recruiting, bringing players back. It all made a lot of sense. And I don't think you would have saw a single Rhode Island FC fan. Maybe some people say maybe it was a little early. I wasn't there. I'm sure I tweeted about it. I'm sure I said something where I was all about this. Now we go to this season. So through 21 games in the 2025 season, we are in 9th place right now in the Eastern Conference, which is 1 spot out of the playoffs. Our last 5 is draw, loss, win, draw, loss. We have 15 goals for in 21 games. Only 11 of those are not penalty goals, which is genuinely insane. We've given up 23 goals. We are 24th, dead last in the USL Championship in goals per match, and we are 5th in goals against per match. We slipped there after last night. So just comparing the last data slide that I showed you of this flourishing offense and it moving to this absolutely worse in the league offense, it's generally perplexing. It's really hard, especially when we brought back basically the entire offense and the entire team in a lot of ways. So if you watched Double Pivot the other night, and if you haven't watched it yet, it's still fresh. It's one of those things that can live on for weeks. So I definitely would recommend. It is now Tide Talk's highest ever video views. So shout out to Timmy and Andrew for putting Matt and I in our place there.
Tell them what we did yesterday, Ryan, to
yes.
give them their flowers for it.
Yeah, so we Timmy, Matt, Andrew, and I carpooled together, and Matt got in the back seat, and then Andrew was like, "Oh, you can kick the front." And I was like, "No, I'll kick the back." And Matt was like, "No, you guys deserve the front 2 seats with how you put us in our place over the weekend." So shout out to Timmy and Andrew. The episode was awesome. And a big part of that was because they got some really great fan engagement. So they ran a survey. In the survey results of RIFC fans, in the question of why is Rhode Island FC not playing well this season, the number one thing by a pretty big landslide was coaching and tactics. So I want to go through why that was also my number one, and I honestly wouldn't have really even – the rest of them were fine, but coaching and tactics I've been very maybe not as loud on the podcast about, but very quietly extremely frustrated talking to people, and we'll get to why. So why am I so hell-bent on coaching and tactics? So 3 main things here. So number 1, corners and set pieces. Number 2, lack of progress. And number 3, the team looks lost. So we'll start with the kind of more straightforward one here. So corners.
They look like Timmy trying to hand out a man of the match paddle.
Honestly, that's the meanest thing. We've described this team a lot of different ways this season and how bad they've been. That is the meanest way I've heard anyone do it. So yeah, if anyone wants to see those pictures, let us know there. But so corners and set pieces, why I have this called out and why it's such a big issue to me in terms of coaching is set pieces are they're the one time in a soccer game. And the beauty of soccer is the transition game. There's constantly changing states. A set piece is when it is a set play. That is pure coaching. It's purely you can run play after play after play in practice and you can get there. So we are the only team this year to not have scored a single goal either from a corner or a set piece.
Hey, we're first on something.
Yeah, hey, it's always great when you take everything and flip it on its head so that we are first in this season. We're the only team not to do that. I know we have the Chick-fil-A conspiracy on corners. But yeah, and we're also, the worst part is we're also 21st in goals against on corners and set pieces. So we are scoring 0 and we are shipping them sometimes. I know we had a really bad run of that earlier. And the craziest part of this, and I found some dodgy data that I don't know if this is perfectly good data, but we apparently are second in non-goalkeeper average height in the league. We are fourth. We have 4 people in the top 25, 7 in the top 100, and 14 in the top 200. So we are a very tall team. We joke a lot about kick it to the tall guys, but we're at a place where this is becoming it's becoming negligent for a team who can't score goals to not try to find any inch of, and inch is not a pun, but any inch of ways to do that, including corners and set pieces. So I will pause here to kind of let the crew take that one around. We can go to Timmy first.
I'll just really nothing to add other than when I was rewatching the game for the second time today, I noticed a nice.
Why did you do that to yourself?
Because like
I watched it once and that was by far enough.
I was so sleepy both times. I needed both to even retain what happened.
You should have had those 2 different coffee drinks Matt and I had at like 10:30 p.m. that I woke up, my heart was still racing.
Yeah, those were powerful. No, I was just gonna say last night somewhere in like the middle of the first half, we got a set piece in a decent position and Ibarra just fucking punted it out of bounds.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Anyone else want to weigh in this one?
It's not even just that they're not coming up with plays or whatever. At its simplest form, just fucking backyard baseball or backyard soccer. Tall guy in box. Just try to kick it to his head. That simple. They don't even do that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Like you said, numbers don't lie. We have tall guys in there. We can't get them the ball. And then defensively, they're still getting yelled at out in the field. One of the assistant coaches was yelling at Hugo in the Birmingham game for not marking late in the game, for not marking his guy correctly. We almost conceded to let that one be tied, maybe go to penalties. So yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, Matt, anything on you?
I agree with everything that was said.
Yep. So again, I think this is the kind of lightest one here. Just like for a team that can't find the back of the net, to basically not try to find these small places that it can be coached and really worked on in practice to try to get you over the line is, to me, very, very negligent in terms of coaching.
I mean, you were saying, Ryan, you said that the Tottenham fans in the chat will hate this, but watch one Arsenal game one time, please. And I said, you're wrong. I would actually love that. Please watch an Arsenal game and take a set piece play one time.
Yeah. I mean, it's becoming a joke, but Arsenal scored 35 corners in the past 2 years or something insane. Dead serious, grind some tape. It's not hard to find. It's honestly again, this is why it's so negligent is there's really easy ways to try to figure this out. We have continued to run the exact same play the entire year. Dead serious. We've run the exact same play the entire year, which again is not working, just like our formation, just like everything, which gets me to my next thing, lack of progress. So when something is going right, we're going to have patches throughout the season. We saw Loudoun start off really hot. They're a little cold now. Last year, we started off really cold. We kind of figured some stuff out in the summer, and we saw this team change over time. And the whole thing about football and soccer is form is very important. And then form is going to change. Form is going to fluctuate. That's a part of the game unless you're, I guess, Louisville. But it's a part of it. We don't expect them to be perfect throughout the season. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be dips in form. There's going to be all sorts of shenanigans that happen. But there has just been truly a very bad lack of progress this season. And as you can see from the trend line here, so this is our expected goals. The really sad thing is it never actually jumps up in any single game above 2.5. We never actually jump up there. And then on the trend, it actually has just gotten worse and worse and worse. We have now, we'll get to that in the next slide, but looking at actual goals too, like the trend is even worse. Like this, again, never jumps above 3. We've done it twice, but we've scored more than 1 goal 4 times this year in league play. And we've actually been shut out in 57% of our games. And it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our last 8 games we've been shut out.
And I guarantee you that 2 of these spikes were where we got a penalty kick, which is an automatic 0.8 added to that number.
So I actually was going to take that off, and I didn't even want to complicate it. But yeah, I think one of these is the Detroit game, which was above a 1 for which shouldn't have been. It should have been more like a 0.5. So like we are just barely creating an XG. Like the amount of times our XG is actually below 1 is genuinely insane. And again, this is a team that like we were one of the top in the league at both like expected goals and actual goals by the end of the season. Like it wasn't a fluke that we actually started scoring goals. It was actually more of a fluke that we weren't scoring them. Like that's actually how good we were. And this season, it's both correct that we are just not scoring goals because the data all underlining it. So there's been a clear, and again, injuries have caused a bit of this. But again, we thought JJ Williams was going to come back and fix everything. No, JJ's been back for all of this nonsense over here, where we've at most scored 1 goal. And there's just been no changes to actually propel the clear problem in this team. The clear problem. There's no other way you can spin this season than this team cannot score.
Can't score goals if you pass it back towards your own net.
No, I mentioned earlier today we're averaging 1 goal per month over the last 2 months. We've scored 2 league goals since July.
Yeah, you showed us the slides ahead of time, and these 2 slides with the trend line were just like appalling. It's confirmation of what we've already been seeing and talking about, but it's abysmal.
Yeah, hands anything from you?
No. I agree with all you. It's awful. What else dare to say? The numbers don't lie.
We did. No, like I said, how do we create chances and score goals when we don't pass the ball in the direction of the net we're trying to score at? That just drives me nuts.
I think you. At times, it's okay to pass the ball backwards. We're just not doing anything.
Not at the rate we're doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not doing anything once you get it over like the halfway line, which is like terrible. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's actually funny. I think our most comfortable plays, and this is actually really evident in who on our team touches the ball the most. It is the 3 center backs and 1 or 2 of the defensive midfielders. And that's not like completely abnormal, but the level that they are touching it more than anybody else on the pitch is genuinely insane. All right, folks. So the final one, and I think this is the one that last night especially killed me, is the team just looks lost. There were multiple times where you'd have Corcoran and Enibar sitting they almost like inches from each other because they both thought they should be there. You have people making runs, no one's seeing them. There are people not making runs and they're kicking it over the top and no one's there. The team looks like they have absolutely no idea how to play in the system, what they're supposed to be doing. And quite frankly, this is an issue because we don't ever see the same starting 11. You have people playing positions they've never played in their entire careers until today. And it's just why I think it's a coaching thing. And I'm going to bring you through this is you'll hear Kano right now. And I have a couple of clips queued up yelling at the players to do things that are the most like minute part of the game, which to me I don't want this to come off of, I don't think the coach should be talking to the players throughout the game. Of course he should, but he was saying, you go pass to this person. And it's just like, that feels so at a low level. Micromanaging. And also just like, wait, if you have to say that, then what is happening at practice? Like, what is the game plan? What is the idea that this team is supposed to be playing with? So I'm going to play a couple of clips, and these clips quality wise probably don't look great, but it's more about hearing what you can hear Kano saying. It was almost as if they had him mic'd up last night. So there's like 4 of them in a row. They're all like 10 seconds.
Is there audio?
I got nothing.
Oh, you can hear it?
No.
I mean, I will say, and I don't know if I'm not offended either way. I don't know if you took the clips that I timestamped, but I noticed that at least 3 clips in the first half where Kano yelled out a specific pass, which I agree, that's like a crazy thing for a coach to be doing. And all three of them were immediate turnovers because the player rushed the pass or that pass wasn't actually open and they coughed the ball right up. You can hear it now.
There you go. We can hear it now.
Oh, you can hear the bark. You heard the bark there.
Oh, okay. So I think you have to hear it through my mic, which is probably a terrible way this is going to happen, but we're going to do it as a team, everybody. All right, so let's try this.
Patient. 15 goals. That's last.
All right, so that's the first one from him being like moving on, and then no one touches the ball. Our next one.
I love that the commentator even specifically said who that intercepted ball was intended for right after he said go to Noah.
Dude, the craziest part too is he doesn't even kick it to Noah. Noah was actually I actually don't understand how he was supposed to pass to Noah because Noah was just marked directly in front of him. And the
It
worst
looked like
part
Clay
with that
was
one-
the target.
Clay was the target, and then the worst part with that one and why I'm talking about this team looks lost. Then Ibarra clips over the top to absolutely nobody. So it's just like these guys don't know what they're supposed to be doing. And again, there's two more here.
Interest in him elsewhere as well. He's been a super signing.
So like, why did he want the ball to go to JJ there?
That's the thing. It's one of those ones where I'm like, I have no
There was
clue
no
what
one
did. He's
around
saying
him.
getting behind, but it's like for what? Because he's going to be 1-on-4 again for the 800th time. Like the defense is very settled back there. All four of them are staying there. Where JJ Williams by himself. So going to him, we're not creating that advantage where like last year it'd be JJ and then Noah with one defender. So once JJ took the defender out, Noah could go nuts. That we're not doing any of that this year. And it's also very slow. It's like yelling at JJ to make the run when Mabika is not even looking up. He's passing it to Quizera on the wing. Like even if JJ made the run, he would have just been offsides. And then one final one here. And to me, yes, to your question, these were the ones you sent me, and I really appreciate that. Because I did not want to have to rewatch the game for a second time, listening only for Kano while I was cooking dinner.
It's not for the want of effort. Gladio below. You and I have interviewed him. Well, you're that setting that one up perfectly. And he's
Cooked.
He's what happens when you put the vitamin C in the water. Something happens. There's just a lot of effervescence and bubbly, and he's fantastic. And he's doing his best in this position.
Yeah. So again, it's to me that again, not opposed to Kano coaching him up mid-game, completely normal behavior. The thing it's more about what he's trying to coach them up on, which is the runs they're making, the kind of very micro details of the game, which again should be part of the larger game
Training
at this point.
Should be part of training. That should all get
I mean,
ironed out there.
You hear a lot of active coaches on sidelines when you're watching broadcasted games, especially at the higher level. But what they're being vocal about is usually about shape, about position, about finer details on transition play. It's not, hey, pass the ball to that guy. Hey, that guy, pass it to him. It's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff gets worked on in training. Like, sorry, but I'm a fan of a team over in Europe who is a very detail-oriented coach.
Oh, get the fuck out of
that
here.
way.
Good evening.
Stuff in training.
Yeah, you're so detailed. I can't.
Ryan.
Go for it. Keep going.
You talked about Arsenal. I didn't even say who the team was.
My issue is more about how Unai Emery is detail oriented. I have an issue.
He is. But anyway, whatever. My point is that that's
Let's send you the clips of the fucking Europa League against Arsenal versus Chelsea and talk about the beautiful.
All right, back on track, you Euro snobs.
But you let Arteta finish like shitty 2 years in a row and gave him all the time in the world.
Keep going.
But no, the point, forget that stuff. All I'm trying to say is, yeah, this type of stuff, the details, you do that in training, and if you got to yell that stuff during games, something's clearly wrong, like as you guys were saying. So,
and again, I think to Timmy's point, it also like they were not the correct pass to play. That was even the worst part. Is like none of it worked out. So. Yeah, so again, these are my couple of things, and ooh, I took this from Tim and Andrew's slide. Nice little animation here, but we're bringing back the thermometer from Double Pivot the other night of the hot seat here. Has anyone? So I guess we'll start with. We'll keep the Double Pivot boys off this for the first. So I mean, Kerwin, any thoughts on your take of where's Kano on the hot seat right now?
So I'm going to go back to I kind of teased it when I was reading some of the takes, and I'll blame Andrew Quadros for this. And where's Denzel now? So I know we discussed it on one of the episodes recently that there was a clip shared from a Denzel Washington interview about talking heads and people not being with it, being about it. So Kano's
I still have no
feeling
idea why Denzel Washington was talking about that in the first place.
Sure.
Keep going.
That leads me to believe Kano's feeling some kind of external pressure, and I don't think it's from Tide Talk, from Raising Anchor. I think it's, he's hearing things, he's seeing things, and it's coming. It very well might be because of us. And if it is, like, hey, we want this team to be successful, we want things to be better, we're trying to call out change. But to kind of call people out like that and sub people, I just feel it is childish. And I think the way this team performs is childish. There's no adjustments. I would say right now, I think when we did this last time, I was at hot in the double pivot chat. I'm at scorching right now. I think the seat is on fire. I think his saving grace is the Jägermeister Cup. I think if we bow out ungracefully versus Sacramento, I don't think any change would be made before the end of this USL Championship season at all, especially with the extension. But if there's a bow out there and we limp our way to the finish line, which is to be expected from recent performances, I could very well see a change in the summer. So I was hot, and I'm getting more to scorching now. I feel like the players, with all this micromanaging, the message is lost. If I was a player and I'm getting yelled at to who to pass the ball to live in games, I'd be pretty pissed as a paid professional. So I think the tactics, the strategies that are being employed on these young men is wearing very, very thin. I think it's scorching.
What about you, Hans?
Yeah, it's similar to Matt. I think I'll bump up one. I'm pretty sure I had warm when we did double pivot, and I'm up to hot now for the hot seat. I just think bad results could tip the scales. Like I think if we continue to put performances forward like we did against Hartford, and we obviously have two like really tough matchups coming up with Charleston and Louisville, I mean, it could get really ugly. And at that point, I think, you start talking about, I agree with Matt, like, I think he's going to stay through the end of the season, but I think that after the season, if it ends up being a disaster the rest of the year and keeps going further downwards, you have to think about it. Otherwise, I think, he probably comes back next season, and then you kind of go from there and see through the first half of next season how things go. But I would say
I will say to hop back into with the Jaeger could save him. Like I've got him at I would, like I said, scorching. In reality, it's probably somewhere between hot and scorching. But I feel like with the fan base, it's totally scorching right now. But I feel like winning the Jaeger could bump him back down to warm.
Yeah, I think I agree with that too. I think it'll still be it would be a trophy, and it would be something we can at least celebrate. And then you can kind of maybe say, well, we're trying to build a certain style of play and we couldn't build it all year, although maybe we don't have a style of play. You could argue that too. But I think you can maybe justify it in a way if you get the Jaeger of kind of keeping them on and seeing how it goes next year. But and then
I also think Brett's recent comments in an interview about if we lose, it wasn't because we didn't invest in this roster is a pretty telltale sign of tides shifting on this debate and on this conversation. That was really the first public thing, and I viewed that comment fully as an indictment of, like, he's the GM, he's the coach, these are the players he wanted, he built the roster, so who else is to blame at that point?
Yeah, I mean, we saw this roster like a lot, like going back to what we said a lot earlier, like we've seen a lot of these guys perform, and we've seen some of the guys individually show what they can do, some of the newer guys. So it's just pulling it all together, and it just hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen this year, it seems. So,
one thing that's funny is you talk about style of play. I do think we have a style of play. It just is not, it's terrible. It is a very bad style of play. If one thing is for certain this season, we've been very consistent in our style. It is not a successful style of play, and that's what's so frustrating is there's been no change.
Do you think it's hard to do that at this level? Because it seems like Kano, I mean, I'm just pointing out one thing, but like the PSG like it shows that he's obviously watching stuff from over in Europe and seemingly getting inspired by that stuff. But like, if you have to yell at the players what runs to make, who to pass the ball to, like, I'm not trying to trash the players in any way, but they're in the USL Championship, like, for a reason. These aren't your players who are going to go play in Europe. They're not even players who are going to be playing in MLS right now for the most part. I mean, a couple guys maybe have the talent, whatever, maybe not the consistency, but I don't know if you could get this to work. Even Louisville is talking about how great Louisville is. They have less of the ball this year. They decided to get less of the ball and do almost more of what we did, trying to play in transition. And they're like smoking teams right now, obviously best team in the league. So I don't know if this is sustainable long term. I'd love to see it work, but I don't know if at this level that's a sustainable way of playing.
I mean, part of being a great coach is putting your players in a position to succeed. So if you're playing a system that none of them can succeed in, that is an indictment on the coaching. But on top of that, the thing that's hard is that last season, I think one of the things we really credited Kano on, and we did slides just like this on the changing tides of Kano ball. He made a shift mid-season that really unlocked this team. So I think that's what's making it even more frustrating is he has it in him to change and to adjust and to do this, and he's just not doing it this season for whatever reason. Maybe he feels there's this is the right way, and or he feels that his players are just are letting him down in some way. I don't know, but
you got to find a way to adjust.
I mean, the fact that there's been no adjustments.
Yeah, that's the surprising thing to me is, like, I feel like we kind of knew last year coming in, well, early on, that he kind of wanted to be more possession based. Didn't work. We all know, we kind of went more transition based, which I guess numbers didn't exactly bear that out. But we played more direct, and we're in August now. We're like more than 2/3 of the way through the season, and what we're doing hasn't worked, and there hasn't been that adjustment. Like last year, we got that adjustment in July, like midway through the season, and we went on this run. And it's like, at what point do you make that adjustment? It hasn't happened yet. It feels like it's not going to happen. So
it also just feels like
the season's over.
The team is not bought into whatever he's trying to give them, and that might be an indictment for whether where you fall on the scale. Is that the team isn't buying in? If he has to point out where to pass the ball to, it's because they're not trusting what they're seeing, or they're not trusting where people are supposed to be. And that's what it's felt like. Is that early in the year last year, it felt like they had really a lot of confidence in themselves. I think that carried into early this year, where early on they felt like it was going to come. And now I think that they've hit a point, probably a couple months ago now, where they don't have that confidence and they're not buying into that system. And if they haven't bought into the system yet, they're not going to now. And as a coach, you need to figure out how to get them to buy in, which he hasn't been able to do, or change the system, or do something to shake it up in a way that you're getting results. And the fact that there's been no change, despite the fact that they're not buying into the system, is a problem.
Quadros, let's get your while you're going. Let's get your level.
Kevin's going to be angry at me, I think. First of all, just really quick aside, Coach Almeida, I can't respond to your comments. I can only respond in the YouTube. I see all this Benfica slander, and I'm watching you. I got it. I can't reply.
It's said to clarify.
See you in M7.
He said that's not sporting, so you can.
Yeah. That. So last week I said I personally was between warm and lukewarm, and I think that the club was somewhere in there as well. I think I'm rising personally to probably getting close to hot. I don't think the team has changed one bit. I think that they still have the same game plan, no matter how the rest of the season shakes out. That they're going to bring him back. I still think I want him back because he is a young coach. It's his second year. He's made a lot of mistakes this year, and I want to give him the opportunity to do something about it in the offseason. And I want the club to give him the opportunity, with extra help, either assembling the right roster,
if we bow out of the Jaeger.
Yeah.
Who put the roster together?
Well, it was him. Yes. So
that's what makes this really hard for me, because it's not because in a lot of these sports, it's like the GM gave me a shitty roster. He's the fucking GM.
So Sean brought up a good point earlier. What was Brett Louis' involvement last year? And was Brett Louis involved in helping put together the roster? And I would venture, I guess, that he probably was. And he wasn't around this offseason to do it. And I'm hoping that there's a recognition by the team of Kano can't go about this himself, that he needs to have someone else in there to either shoulder a lot of those responsibilities or to help him to do it. I think there's been a lot of mistakes made on the coaching staff and the way this roster was assembled. And I want them to have the opportunity to flush through it because we did
So
see.
Andrew,
Playoffs.
can I clarify too?
Yeah.
Saying
Playoffs?
we don't win the Jaeger and we don't make the playoffs. Are you still saying you want him back?
As of right now, I'd say probably. I think it depends how it looks. I think the club is bringing it back either way, though. It depends how it looks, right? If it's the way it's
I want to be
like,
clear. He's gonna be the coach game 1 next season, no matter what
Yeah.
any of us fucking say here. No matter what, we could lose 10-0 the rest of the season. He's the coach next year. I want to be clear that's gonna happen. But I would like for us on this show.
No.
if the rest of the season continues the way it's looked to date, with no change, I would say bring it back. If things get worse and there's just like an open
What's
revolt in
worse?
the
What's
team.
worse?
Well, I have 2 opponents for you coming up to make things
Yeah, I was
worse.
gonna say, what's
It's
worse?
entirely
You might see
possible.
it.
That's why I'm reserving the right here to change my mind because depending on how it shakes out for the final month or 2 of the season, I might end up changing my mind. But I still think he has potential. Like all the things that we're complaining about now are things that he did last year. He's capable of doing it. I do think he has the ability to do it, and he's a young coach who's going to make mistakes. I just think that I would want to see him have one more opportunity to do it, especially when you consider the fact that if we make a change there, we're not going to get the investment in the roster to help support the new coach that we all want. We're not going to get the investment that kind of was gotten in the first 2 years because it's going to cost them a lot of money to make all the changes.
Would you like to see him stripped of GM?
Yeah, I'd be up for that. I'd be up for that, or have it where he's officially the GM, but he has someone, that's a right-hand person that can help him to do.
He has
a lot
that
of
one
stuff.
guy.
He needs help building a roster.
He has an assistant GM.
Someone to take more ownership of it. But if that means losing that title, I'm okay with that too.
The thing I struggle with that is the other side of this whole thing is like he brought back most of the team that brought him to the finals last year. So that's what I think is bothering me about all this is like he doesn't have the excuse of like, oh, we really did a big roster turnover. The team invested in bringing like most of that roster back. I think that was a very big statement of intent. And then you add in a Max Rodriguez, you start to add in these pieces that are more supposed to be kind of sweeteners on top of what is already a roster that we saw do really well last year. And it was
Sean Carey that you're thinking of, Ryan, who's the assistant GM,
Yes.
but is also a full-time teacher as well.
Sure.
So kind of that balance of all of that is, having someone on who, the USL doesn't pay like what other leagues pay. So people keep a job like that,
Yeah. I have no problem with that.
And I want to be clear. Significant change needs to happen. I just don't think that significant change needs to be that Kano's out. That's where I'm at with it. I think that he can be brought back.
I've said it before on here. I think being a first-year coach is hard enough at any sport at any level, but also being the general manager, where you're, especially at a professional level, where you have to fill your roster and bring it in, it almost sets you up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot of stuff that I think worked against them, and that's not to excuse what's happened this season, but I think it's a case of the not only the front office, the investor group brought him in, and they feel really good about him, his abilities, who he is as a person, and I don't think you could just throw all that away, knowing that the level of investment it's going to take to make all of that change means we're not going to have as talented of a roster next year. I do think there's a lot of change that needs to happen in the roster setup that we have now.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of turnover because if I'm Clay Holstad, I don't want to be fucking second choice right wing back or sixth choice midfielder at a team. You know what? Like,
yeah, I agree.
If I can get bought from somebody, I'm moving the fuck on. Like,
also, maybe like the other thing is like we're making a less talented roster. There's a lot less talented quote unquote teams doing significantly better than us at this point. So
sure.
Talent is not our problem.
Look at last year to this year across the league. We're sitting where we are. Colorado Springs is sitting down the basement. And then you got a shit team from last year like Tulsa who's lighting the West on fire. Like things in this league are crazy because of young talent and what comes in and who's able to adapt and change.
Of course, use that example when Mario's in the chat tonight. Unbelievable.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year Tulsa was not a good team. I'm sure Mario would agree with you, but like that's why I'll give them their flowers this year. Like coaches come in, young players come in, they adapt, they change to what's going on. There has been no change, no adaptation to anything that's going on this season, right. and that alone is the most troubling part of all.
Before we keep going, I want to get Timmy in here. Timmy, what's your on the scale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at hot, and I agree with everything you guys have said. The only angle that I'll add outside of what's been said is I do think that the team would have I would have an easier time losing 4-3 every week than I do losing 1-0. And I think that at some point the team will agree
Goal a
with that
month.
because
Goal a month.
yeah, that does not make people want to go to the stadium. Like,
Well, especially when you have
it just doesn't.
you have the reigning or 2 years ago reigning MVP Golden Boot winner. You have JJ Williams. Like you
insane.
have the resources. You have Golden Playmaker last year, Noah Fuson, and we can debate all of their performances this season, but you have the tools to score goals.
Yeah,
And you
that's
really
it.
watch those 3 people score goals.
They pitched this project before they ever kicked the ball as we're going to be an exciting brand of soccer, and we might give up a few goals, but we're going to score more. And it's gone the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, and I think off what Timmy's saying, you like we all need another beer.
It's incredible.
Oh,
The
man.
funniest part of this is then I cannot control anything that's happening on the screen right now. This is the best. So keep going, Hans. Keep going, Hans.
No, but going off what Timmy's saying, was saying like about you'd rather lose 4-3 than 1-0. Like this team is in its first or it was second. I mean, they sometimes act like it's their first season. First season at a new stadium, second season overall, and you're trying to.
Were we supposed to say cozy up, crack a second beer? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Nope.
I already went through 2 of these, so keep it going.
You're in the new stadium for the first season in the new stadium, second season overall. You're trying to build, more of a fan base. We obviously have all us sickos who went to all the games Bryant last year and followed the team around and went to Hartford last night and all of that. But
we overvalue ourselves because the team doesn't.
Yeah, but and the team needs to get more. You want to get more like casual fans, and these people are going to outgrow in the games, and we can't fucking score any goals.
Well, we are right now doing the stereotype of soccer in America, boring soccer.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, oh, like this team can't. And like I have people that I guess I'm making assumptions, but I've seen people around me that are new and I haven't seen before. Probably just got tickets for that game in 205. Who probably aren't big soccer fans, and even they're all saying like, "Why are you passing the ball backwards? Like, what? Go that way. Go towards the goal." Like, it's crazy, and it just hurts the team.
Common sense type shit.
Yeah, but it's just it hurts the team overall from like an optics standpoint to those casual people you're trying to get to go to games when your team sucks and you can't score goals, and you can play that clip. They can play that clip every home game of that little video of us, winning the Eastern Conference last year. But it's like you're not going to see any of that in the stadium this year. So, false advertising, basically. It just sucks. Right. And then other thing, just want to say I am in solidarity with Andrew on what his takes are and how he feels about Kondo. I'm pretty much in agreement with what he was saying there. So just to kind of, you're not alone there. I know him, Kevin and some other people are probably trashing you there, but I'm pretty much with you on that.
Just one more really quick point.
Really sweet.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Mario.
Kevin is edging to get Ryan's take here, but the point that you raised with other teams, rising from the bottom of the table to be good in the following years, who have been the best teams and the most consistent teams over the past several years? It's the Charlestons and Louisvilles of the world.
But Andrew, no. The thing about Charleston is they didn't make the playoffs like the year or two before we were in the league. Like they were actually
huge
horrible.
Financial investments into those 2 clubs in recent years, though.
Sure, but now it's several years.
You could certainly say the same for Rhode Island being new money, but it's still coming in, and that gets me back to Brett's comments.
You need some level of consistency. Otherwise, you're just going to be riding a roller coaster of good results, bad results. And I understand we've had 2 years, and the second year has been very, very bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I do want to see him have one more year because I'd rather have some consistency rather than just riding a wave and going up and down and having to completely turn things over every single time.
Completely agree.
No, up the tide, man. Up the tide.
All right, Ryan. People are waiting.
All right, so I am at hot at this point. I was probably warm the other night. I'm at hot now. I think Kano is feeling scorching, though. And the reason I will say that is I don't think you start micromanaging individual passes in a game unless you're feeling something. I don't think you post that Denzel Washington clip unless you're feeling something. So I think he is starting to feel the heat. I also think
I don't think you get away from your quote, "That's my cup keeper. I won't rotate," and then rotate when you're on record of saying it unless you're feeling pressure from elsewhere.
Yep. I think the team is kind of. I think a lot of the fans also are looking at the Jaeger or bust. I think there's an extreme over just like I think people are really expecting a lot of the Jaeger Cup, and I kind of at this point don't understand how. We beat a very bad Birmingham team 1-0 at home to advance to the semifinals. We are playing a Sacramento team that almost no one in the league is scoring on, and then if we get to the finals, we're most likely meeting Hartford there, who we have yet to beat this season. So I think there's a lot of people who really are expecting a lot out of this team, and I at this point don't understand how you can rationally believe in anything that we are seeing on the pitch. So if the Jaeger is your saving grace for the season, I'm nervous for you. But I genuinely think
I think the caveat to that is 2 trophies in 2 years. That would be the piece of that. Yeah. That's where people are hanging their hat.
I mean, no. To be clear, if we do win the Jaeger, that's phenomenal. I think people are talking about it as if we're going to win the Jaeger, and I am very interested in.
Yeah.
Well, if we Sacramento will be difficult, but maybe if we don't play 6 defenders against them this time, we might have somewhat of a better opportunity.
Like we're going to. Like, this is the problem. We are going to.
Well, what's scary about the cup?
You are 100% correct. We're still going to fucking do it. We are going to play Marky Bar and Corcoran in midfield together. We're going to play 3 center backs.
I'm going to do it.
Like we're going to play the fucking same thing we've watched all season. And you know what's funny about Sacramento? They're an even better defense than us. So like, great. Yeah. Like let's fucking watch our 1 versus 5 offense go up against their back couple. Like great.
The only strategy there.
The live show is great, by the way, guys. It's gonna be really happy-go-lucky stuff at High Motor. Please come.
The scary part about the cup, though, is we're kind of on a razor's edge here because if we don't get past Sacramento, obviously that's a bust. If we do get past them, more than likely we're going to end up facing Hartford. And then what is another Hartford loss, another Derby loss in a cup final mean for Kano's hot seat and for the general temperament of this fan base? Like
if we lose to Hartford in the final of the Jägermeister Cup, we are not doing a podcast the day after.
Yeah, I cannot think about that. We can't even talk.
It'll just be me going through fucking individual slides. Oh man, that'd be fucking.
Move it along.
We just have 5 thumbnails of us in black shirts.
Blogs, no pod, nothing.
All right, guys, we'll do it.
We'll
do a quick whip around to end this one. We'll start with you, Matt Hands. Final thoughts. I think this is the longest ever Tide Talk episode.
Yeah, figures. Always after a loss or when it's a shit show, which unfortunately.
But thank you to all the sickos who stuck with us. Our numbers have been booming the entire time.
Yeah, I just this sucks, man. Like I think that I was thinking about this today on the way back, like driving back. I think in a way, I don't know how to say this. I don't want to say it's a good thing, but it's almost good for us to get knocked back as a fan base because I think that we came in last year. We had the run last year.
Not weekly.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying, I guess I'm saying is like, we can accept reality now. I think as a fan base, yeah. I'll try. What I'm saying is that
that is fine.
We last year had this run, and I think for most of this season, a lot of us were thinking like, oh, we'll just kind of turn it around, whether it be when first when we start playing at home, and then when JJ comes back, and then we've talked about, oh, Hartford sucks, and they've done nothing in their history, and it's like, well, now like they're better than we are, and we fucking suck, and it's like, at least we can accept this now.
What did I do, Martin?
It's probably me.
Do you mean Hands? You must mean Matt Hands, Martin. I'm Matt K. That Brady Bunch fellow over that way is Matt Hands.
I'm not happy about it, but I think it resets No, but this kind of goes to what Matt K had said before about did we have too much success too early last year? And I feel like now it's like maybe we did, and maybe now it's like we realize we're not going to have great seasons every fucking season, and sometimes we're going to be shit. And hopefully, like Andrew said, hopefully we become one of those consistent teams. And I do think maybe keeping Kano could possibly, we'll see. I've reserved the right to change my mind by the end of the season, but yeah. We know that we're not the shit anymore. I think we've been cocky as a fan base.
No, now we're just shit.
Now we are just shit. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
What the fuck are you like? This whole thing about we were actually a good team. Like we were the whole thing about like we went on the magical run. We were actually good last year. We were a good team last year.
No, we were.
You don't have to do like penance to like. We were actually good. You can just be. We were good last year. It's fine.
We were fine. We weren't
The underlying data
7 out
was
of 10.
good the whole goddamn time, and then it paid off. Like it actually worked out. We were good from like August through the end of the season. We made the final.
I
Was there a
say it
lot of
all.
luck- there's
I
a lot
say
of
it all
luck
the
in that.
time on here. The Cinderella story papered over a lot of cracks.
And I think you're wrong on that. This is a beautiful podcast. I think you're dead wrong. I think last year was actually good. We don't need to keep hedging last year. Last year actually happened, and
Hedging?
there's data that actually backed up what happened. It wasn't some surprise. It was real. So yeah, that's where I'm just stuck. Like we don't have to keep going back to like almost like kicking Art last year and this whole getting knocked down a peg. You brought back the whole damn team. It's a talented team. Like what we've seen from most of the players this year is not what their talent level is. And like it wasn't, and that's not like even before the season last year started, people were predicting us to be in like a home playoff run. It wasn't like this wasn't some shocker. Like people were like they invested in a really good roster, RIFC, and then it ended up paying out that we did end up doing well. And from what you're seeing from those same players that people said 2 years ago were really good players that actually played really well last year, and then what they're putting on the pitch right now is so disconnected.
Well, look at someone like Dikwa, who 2 years ago, but look at like Dikwa, who in Pittsburgh had that great season. Players at this level, I feel like they're not playing at a higher level because they're not consistent.
There's a reason why they're here.
Yeah, they're not consistent enough. When we played the Revs, there were a couple of players out there that on our side that I would say probably look like they could be MLS players, but they can do that in a game. It's sustaining that for a whole season or for across multiple seasons. And a lot of these guys, they're probably at this level because they can't do that. There are guys that were in MLS that didn't make it to MLS we're playing maybe MLS 2 and we're kind of tweeners, too good for MLS 2, but not good enough for MLS, who come into this league, not just on our team, across the league. And that's not to trash. Like I love the players. Like I'm not trying to trash the players, but like I just don't think that they're consistent enough. And we look at players who you can say like, oh, these guys are talented. Look at all the broadcasters, how much they've been talking about Dikwa, even into this season of like, oh, the guy get Dikwa going, and we all watch him and like this guy sucks. I mean, he doesn't suck, but like this guy's not getting goals, and like they think he's going to be a savior. So
his golden boot was an anomaly. Other players in this team have shown consistency throughout multiple years in this league. JJ Williams has been good for multiple years. Max Rodriguez has been good for a long fucking time. There's plenty of and some of the best players in this league have been the best players in this league for a really long time. I get what you're saying. I just don't. I think there are more underlying issues that are not the players aren't playing well, but like they're not being set up to play well.
Yeah, no, I think it's both. Yeah, I think it's a combination of both.
All right, Quadros, your final thoughts.
I know what the question was.
Yeah, I mean, we've said a lot tonight. The most depressing part about all of this is that we have 2 months of this left. And unless they turn it around, which I highly doubt they will, we're going to be having...
Andrew, really quick, who are our next 2 games, by the
way? Just Charleston and Louisville. So that's should be a breeze for both of those. If we get a shot...
Our Rhode Island FC, sponsored by Breeze Airways.
Exactly. 5-2 against Louisville again, guys. It's going to happen out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're definitely smoking something there. So yeah, it's depressing to think that we have 2 more months of this building up before we can be done talking about it. So I pray that there's some sort of turnaround, but even if they sneak into the playoffs, they'll just get trounced in the first round, and then it'll be over. So I'm ready for it to be over. I mean, I feel bad for the regular bloggers here, Timmy and Hans especially.
Playoffs.
You're having to write the same thing every single week. Like there's nothing more to add. It's just I feel
at least they can copy and paste. Ryan and I can't fucking do that every week.
Yeah.
You're talking about playoffs, Quadros. Playoffs. You're trying to win a game. We're just trying to win one game.
Just trying to win one.
How about scoring a goal?
Quite frankly, I actually think we are taking for granted playoffs at this point. There's no path we're on right now that shows that we're going to make the playoffs. We are in 9th place, and we are not. We're picking up less than a point per game.
I'm wondering if
high motor tone.
we talk about Kondo not making that big adjustment. Like I'm wondering if if you look at the standings, yeah, we absolutely suck. But if you look at the standings, we're still not far out of 8th place.
We've been saying that for 2 months now, and we keep sitting on down there. So
yeah, no, I know you're definitely right. I'm not saying it's the right way to think about it, but it almost feels like oh well, it's not over.
Clear, I predicted us we were going to win this game 3-1. I'm clearly also not well at this point. So
Delulu, I believe, was the word used in the chat.
Yeah, it's almost irrelevant the playoffs or not, because if we don't show any sort of progression, getting waxed in the first round, it doesn't matter. It's just one extra painful game that we'll have to sit through.
Right.
Yeah. Timothy.
Yeah, just on a completely different angle, I would just say shout out to the people who went to the game yesterday, the people who are still watching all of the games, going to all the games, people who are watching this show. Like, I'm sure that it sucks for everybody when the team's this bad. It's
Misery
also
loves company.
like probably not incredibly fun to like listen to us doom for almost 2 hours, but the people who are still paying attention, and I'm not talking about to this episode, but to the team, are the people who love the team the most and want them to succeed. We're all in the same boat, and they'll be good again at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year, but yeah, yesterday was a lot of fun despite getting just absolutely curb stomped by our biggest rival.
Battered.
Well said.
Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, people have heard way too much of me as always, but the only thing I just want to call it on is like, obviously tonight has been doom and gloom on here, a lot of doom and gloom in the fan base. But listen, like if that's not your jam, like hell yeah, like please like enjoy every bit of this. I hope that while the on the pitch play we've talked about and we've been pretty negative about, is clear. I also hope that the stuff that we talked about of the away trips, the community, all of us being together, I hope that also shines through because while yesterday sucked for those 2 hours watching, oh my God. While yesterday sucked, it was also really fun being with these guys.
That's definitely
being with these guys and being with the entire RIFC community. So listen, if they like, that's always going to be part of it. But the other side of it is you also please, obviously there's a lot of opinions out there. You cannot just please don't be policing others' opinions, others' thoughts. There's going to be a lot of variation, especially when the team is playing like this. So, hope that you stick with it. And I've lost my train of thought since the comment got pulled
that
up.
was definitely,
Thank you, Pawtucket Jay.
oh no, that was definitely the hacker. Now I know who the hacker is. So we've got to the bottom of it.
Craig says curb stomp code for PAX on Tuesdays too. Ryan, I'm glad you brought up the fan policing thing. We were going into the weeds on the ride home, reading through RFC General on the Defiance 1636 last night, which was an absolute disaster class. People who are telling people not to criticize this team, who even in that loop are not even like members of the Defiance, just there on their own merits for whatever reason,
sending their first message ever.
Yeah, but like you've got 5 of us on screen who devoted at least a 12-hour day to what went on yesterday, along with countless others. We did stop and get food on the way home, so caveat to that, but you need that as well. But
yeah, Mad Hands actually did an 11-hour day. We did 12.
Sure. You got people like us who put, and not just us, then there's a lot of regular sicko names in the chat who do it just like we do, but you got that core group of sickos that put in so much time, so much energy, so much effort, so much money into the community aspect around this team. For people to call them out on criticizing them after a game that you got absolutely battered 3-0 to your local rival, and say you can't criticize in that manner is absolute horseshit. Just like the performance was last night. It's fine if you want to be a happy clapper and that's all you want to do and say to that team. You have every right to support that team in your way, the way you want to. But don't tell other people who put their hard-earned money and dedicate their time into supporting this club how they should or should not support it. I think that drove me up a wall last night, hearing you read it next to you in the back seat as I was sweating out rocket fuel, and then reading through it again myself this morning. So,
but yeah, Matt, I think the thing that stood out is, I
in this economy too.
In this economy, we spend thousands of dollars a year supporting this team, and we are paying for a product. I don't want to get all super removing all romanticism and fun from this, but we are paying to experience a product. The product's really bad right now. Listen, if people are going well over the top and it's just really gross and unnecessary, I totally hear the criticism of calling that out. I didn't see a lot of over the top stuff. If this was a one-off game and that people were really going in on them, it's okay, guys, it was one-off. This has been the season. This season, you saw all the trends, all the data.
Sure.
There's no argument you can make that this team has ever been good since March, whatever the first game was, until today. So I just struggle when it's just no, guys, it's okay. We don't have to make the playoffs every year. And it's I don't yes, that's not always going to happen. The Matt Hands, But like, it's just like, why shouldn't we want to make the playoffs every year? We should want to make
Yeah.
the playoffs every year, especially in eight out of 12 teams make the damn playoffs. Like, we should be able to pull that off,
You should
especially when bringing off the roster with the investments, with everything else we talked about tonight.
There should be ambition every year. Yep.
It should always be
That's
ambition. And also, it's okay to say, fellas, you're not playing great. Like, it's okay to do that. If you start going over the top again, harassing, escalating it, it's awful. But having a mild conversation about how a game that a bunch of us were at and spent a lot of fucking time at and money and all this stuff, I don't appreciate it. And I also, this is very, I don't know if this is a right take, but I also don't appreciate it as much from people who just have not been around.
Sure. I will say most of us, we're also spending, time away from family to do that and whatnot. Although Andrew Quadros was very well at home being a hooligan without. Sorry, go ahead, Vince.
No, yeah. I was amazed. I'm looking over at Quadros and Timmy, especially Quadros, man, going crazy.
Portuguese fire.
It's one thing. It's one thing when Quadros is in 116 and he's singing and cheering the whole game, but to see what he put on last night was
masterclass.
Love away days.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah. Also, I will say, if you are still here, please smash that like button.
Yeah. For those of you who have stayed with us for 2 hours now, and if you have not clicked that like button, please do so. It just helps more people find the show. Find Tide Talk. And you get a nice arm workout like Andrew Quadros did. But 2 things before we sign off. Just a reminder, Defiant 1636 Player of the Season voting will be emailed to you on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. And cast your vote to who you think had the best of a worst season. And then Tide Talk will be coming at you live again from High Motor ahead of the Sacramento Jaeger Cup semifinal matchup on Wednesday, September 10th. Be on the lookout. Follow us on all of our socials at Tide Talk RI to do that. Also, if you're not, for whatever reason, following us on Instagram, they recently changed their algorithm. We can't do any of our live shit anymore. We need more followers. So please follow our Instagram. I will keep plugging that one because we like doing those. It's quick. It's easy. We get a lot of good feedback from that. So again, smash that like button if you haven't already. But that'll wrap things up for this one. Remember, Tide Talk is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for daily social media content. Click the link in this episode description to follow all of our accounts. I've been your host, Matt, for all of the Tide Talk crew, Andrew, Timmy, Ryan, and Matt Hands. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Tulsa Mario, subscribe. Thanks again for joining. And as always, up the tide.
Up the tide.
Up the tide.
The Tide.